Hello everyone and welcome to Revit Made Smarter with Ideate Software for Revit 2023 through 2026. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Naveen Nabil. I'm a Senior Solutions Architect at Ideate Software, part of Graitec Group. I'm excited to be here today to present some of the powerful new features we've added to Ideate Software. The June 2025 release of Ideate Software supports Revit versions 2023 through 2026. We've aligned and updated all 6 of our solutions with these Revit versions. You may already know, if you're using an earlier release of Revit, don't worry, we continue to provide archived versions of our tools. These legacy versions won't include the features I'm about to show you today, but you can find them on our archive page. As you can see in red, it says coming very soon. We're excited to announce that the new version will be available next week, so be sure to check our install page to get the latest version as soon as it's released. In this session, we'll cover the latest enhancements to Ideate Explorer, Ideate BIM Link, Ideate Sticky, Ideate Style Manager, and Ideate Apps. And stay tuned, our next session will highlight what's new in Ideate Automation, so you won't want to miss it. Let's dive right into productivity gains, starting with small but impactful improvement to Ideate Explorer. Ideate Explorer is a true project model browser. It shows you every instance of the Revit building element. It allows you to easily understand your model and make powerful edits by swapping components, updating information, and auditing elements and reviewing Revit warnings. In this release, we've enhanced element selection. One of the most common challenges Revit users face is selecting exactly what they want in a model. Whether you're working in a section view, 3D view, or just navigating complex geometry, it's easy to end up with extra elements in your selection set, like grids, level, generic models you just don't want to include in your selection. This isn't a new issue. We've heard about it for years, and it's something many of you can relate to. With this release, we're excited to share that shift and control selection behaviors are now supported directly within Ideate Explorer. This means you can easily refine your selection, quickly deselecting entire categories or individual elements in a way that feels familiar and intuitive. It's a small feature, but one that truly delights our customers by making daily work smoother and more intuitive. These thoughtful updates show our commitment to your feedback and improving your experience in productive and meaningful ways. And speaking of customer delight, we've expanded Ideate Explorer to better support analytical elements in structural models, where you can see analytical elements in the data tree. It's a small but meaningful update that makes workflows more efficient for our structural users. This is another example of how your feedback drives meaningful improvements. Another great enhancement to Ideate Explorer is that filtered selection now works in 3D views. Previously, this feature was limited to 2D views, which made isolating elements in 3D views more challenging. Now, you can filter and select elements like curtain wall panels or facade components or any other elements directly within your 3D views, streamlining tasks like review, coordination, and editing without needing to switch to plan views or section views. Let's talk about visual fidelity, a key part of the user experience with Ideate Sticky. Ideate Sticky is designed to bring in important non-BIM data like Excel files, Word documents, and PDFs directly into Revit. While this data isn't model geometry, it's often critical to the project. As display resolutions have evolved, font rendering has become more complex. Microsoft even introduced a new font, Aptos, to address some of these challenges. It's now the default in many Office applications, including Outlook and Excel. Here is what we found. To ensure consistent and accurate visual output in Sticky, especially from Excel files, we recommend setting the file's theme to the Office theme. This ensures better compatibility and display across different systems and screen types. Please note that this setting affects the file's theme, not the actual font selection, so there is no need to change your preferred font. We'll also have help documentation available to walk you through this. Understanding this can make a big difference in how your non-BIM data looks in Revit. Now, let's pivot from non-BIM data and Ideate Sticky to model data management with Ideate BIMlink. Ideate BIMlink allows you to export a huge amount of data and their parameter values from Revit to Microsoft Excel. Excel can be utilized to review, make changes, then seamlessly push back the changes back into the Revit model. There are a lot of great new workflows that we're supporting with Ideate BIMlink. The first that I want to talk to you about today is creating new materials. This allows you to create and manage Revit materials directly in Excel. This is a long requested feature from our user base. Managing materials within Revit has always been challenging, with very slow loading browser and limited batch editing. With BIMlink, you can bypass these very time-consuming limitations. As you can see in this video, we've introduced the Create New Materials BIMlink link definition, allowing you to export materials data to Excel, editing properties like name, color, and assets, and even get a sense on how this material renders in your project. These are particularly helpful for architects, interior designers, and increasingly important for structural users focused on embodied analysis. As we've mentioned, you can now create new materials by marking the ID field as new to create that material. So you can keep a predefined standard saved in an Excel file in which you can easily copy that information into the import sheet to create the corresponding material. It's easy to see how much time this feature can save when managing project materials. You can also take it a step further by automating the workflow with Ideate Automation. We provide a standard data import setup to batch generate materials in your Revit project. Stay tuned for the Ideate Automation session to learn more about that. Continuing with the theme of materials, if you're someone who appreciates the complexity of how materials function in Revit, you'll be excited to know that Ideate BIMlink now allows you to not only create materials, but also define their associated assets. We've expanded functionality to let you edit appearance, thermal, and physical assets, which are key components that affect rendering, thermal performance, and structural analysis. In previous versions, these assets and fields were read-only. Now they're editable, making this a game-changing workflow for material standardization. Up next, let's talk about material quantity takeoff, a highly requested enhancement that is now available with Ideate BIMlink. Whether you're tracking embodied carbon, producing estimates, or sharing data with colleagues who don't work in Revit, this functionality helps streamline collaboration and reduce reliance on manually opening large model, and just have a report ready for you to review. This enhancement is especially useful for VDC teams, contractors, and structural engineers who need to generate reports regularly, often without accessing Revit directly. For examples, teams now can automate quantity report on a weekly basis and keep stakeholders informed and aligned. With this release, we've added a new Material QTO sample BIMlink link definition under Material Management folder in BIMlink. This introduces a unique data category, giving you more flexibility and detail than what's typically available, even beyond what native Revit tools can do. This feature enables you to export detailed material quantity data such as area, volume, and type directly from Revit models into Excel. While the data itself isn't editable, having quick, reliable access to it is incredibly valuable for many project workflows. Continuing on our focus on materials, another enhancement in Ideate BIMlink is the ability to report on materials applied as paint. a detail that may seem minor but can be quite important depending on the project needs. To support this workflow, we've added materials as paint as a reportable property in Ideate Bundle. This can be used to extract detailed takeoff data or as part of a quality control process to ensure painted surfaces are used or avoided according to project standards. This feature will especially be useful to architects who need finish schedules and contractors who prefer materials to be modeled in a certain way. It's a flexible update that supports both design intent and construction documentation workflows. Another enhancement Ideate Bundle is one we're particularly excited about relates to revisions and issuance. Whether you're publishing a bid set, permit set, addendum, or a tender set, it's critical that you have accurate and up-to-date data tied to your sheets. Many of our customers rely on Bundle specifically for managing this information, and this update builds on that core functionality. We've introduced a new property called Reported Revisions, which lists all the revisions or issuance names associated with each sheet in your project. This gives you the ability to dynamically filter sheets based on revision names, such as returning all sheets related to a bid revision. This feature is particularly valuable when paired with Ideate Automation, which can use this data to dynamically generate and export PDFs. If a new sheet is added to that revision set tomorrow, it is dynamically included. There is no need for manual updates. Now I want to highlight a feature related to display settings and visibility graphics for Revit views. This makes it easier to audit how view display settings are set up across your project, improving consistency and supporting better view management. It's another way we're helping teams maintain quality and clarity in complex projects. With this update, Ideate Bundle now supports reporting on the override state of linked views visibility within views, specifically whether the display setting is set to by host, by linked view, or custom. You can also see exactly which linked view is being referenced when the by linked view is selected. This eliminates the need to manually check every view in the project to make sure the correct linked view is referenced. Here is a new addition to our supported workflows: creating line styles in Revit using Ideate Bundle. Rather than setting up manually one by one, you can now use line styles create new Bundle link definition to define new line styles in Excel, including defining line weight, color, and pattern values. This makes it easier to apply and maintain graphic standards across multiple models, especially when working in large teams or template development. Here's another new supported workflow: creating and editing object style within Revit family files. Using the object styles RFA create new link definition, you can now manage line color, line weight, and material assignments directly from Excel. This makes it easy to apply consistent object style standards across multiple families, saving time and reducing manual editing. In this update, Ideate Bundle now supports the ability to create and modify elements in a single import, making it faster and easier to manage Revit standards directly from Excel. In the past, you had to run separate processes, one to create new elements and another to modify existing ones. That separation made it difficult to use Excel as a standardized source of truth for managing project data. With this improvement, you can now handle both tasks in one streamlined workflow. Here is how it works. In the Excel file, any rows with an existing element ID will be treated as a modification, like updating elevations of level 1. And any rows marked with new in the ID field will create a new element, such as new levels, with their own names and elevation. This enhancement is especially helpful for maintaining consistent parameters, levels, text, and materials across multiple project models. And it's a big time saver for anyone managing standards in Revit. Up next is Ideate Apps. Ideate Apps is a collection of 10 productivity tools designed for everyday Revit users. It includes tools to manage sheets and views, renumbering elements, identifying why elements are hidden in a given view, safely delete elements, and review annotations, and even automate your tagging. Whether you're reviewing content, checking spelling, or creating, placing, aligning, or copying views or sheets, Ideate Apps helps you streamline your workflow and reduce manual efforts throughout your Revit project. We're excited to introduce a new feature in Ideate View Creator. You can now batch create 3D views. Previously, View Creator only supported plan views, but with this update, you can generate multiple 3D views at once using view templates, level, or scope boxes. Creating a 3D view manually in Revit can be a slow, repetitive task, especially when you need to adjust view range, prepare views for export like NWC exports. With this new functionality, you'll save significant amount of time and streamline your 3D view setup, making your workflow faster and more efficient. Let's take a look at how Ideate View Creator simplifies the creation of 3D views. What used to be a time-consuming manual task, setting up individual 3D views, adjusting eye and target elevations, and naming them one by one, is now streamlined into a batch process. You can generate multiple 3D views at once using a combination of view templates, level, and scope boxes, all while applying smart naming rules and optional sheet placement. Whether you need 3D views for coordination, visualization, or exporting for IFC or NWC files, this feature dramatically improves the speed and consistency of this workflow. Another great enhancement to Ideate View Creator is support for area plans using element-based views method. Creating area plans in native Revit typically involves several manual steps, defining schemes, selecting level, and placing views one at a time. Now with View Creator, you can batch create area plan views automatically based on predefined setup. You can choose to place all generated views on a single sheet or have each area view placed on its own sheet. View Creator is also smart enough to auto-arrange the views within the white space of the title block, minimizing the need for manual adjustments. This dramatically reduces the setup time and ensures consistency across all area views, making it especially useful for firms working with multiple levels, phases, or area schemes. It's a simple and powerful way to streamline what was once repetitive multi-step process. And building on that, View Creator also now supports spaces, a valuable workflow for MEP teams. Whether you're generating 3D views in large floor plans or ceiling plan or even elevations, you can quickly create and place views for selected spaces. You can also clone an existing sheet layout, so each new view is placed consistently based on your template. We're also excited to introduce a new feature that allows you to automatically generate curtain wall views. With Ideate View Creator's element-based views method, you can now create dedicated views for individual curtain walls, streamlining the documentation process, improving clarity, and saving valuable time on facade detailing. Designing curtain walls is rarely straightforward. Setbacks, angles, and changes in plane makes the facade complex, and documenting each conditions clearly can be time-consuming and repetitive. This new feature automatically generates elevation views for curtain walls. It applies the correct view types and places them neatly on sheets, making the documentation process more efficient and consistent. We've enhanced the Align tool to now support views alignment across linked models. This is a major benefit for large multidisciplinary projects. You can now select a reference view from a linked model, for example, an architectural view placed on a sheet, and then align views and title positioning in your own model to match that reference precisely. This is especially valuable when multiple teams need to coordinate view placement across disciplines, ensuring that architectural, electrical, RCP, and large plans are all visually aligned. It's not just about aesthetic. It improves the document's clarity and also supports coordination. You can simply choose the reference sheets and views from the other model, like level 3 on sheet A103 from the architectural model, and then select the corresponding view in your own model. Once aligned, the view and title positioning will match perfectly. And as you see here, this tool can align multiple sheets in batch processes, saving even more time on large documentation sets. Next up is an update to Smart Delete, our tool for precise and safe element deletion. Based on our awesome customers' feedback, Smart Delete is now modeless, meaning you can interact with your Revit model while the tool remains open. This gives you more flexibility as you assess which elements and their dependencies that you want to remove. You can now view the properties of selected elements along with any dependent elements, such as tags or dimensions, and even see who created them. Clicking on a dependent element, like a dimension, will automatically open the view where it exists, helping you quickly understand its context. The working set in Smart Delete is independent of your Revit selection, so you can continue selecting elements without affecting it. You can add or remove elements from this set, filter it down using the refresh and restart options, and take actions only when ready. This update puts more control in your hands and makes it easier to safely clean up your model without unintended consequences. And that wraps up our overview of what's new in Ideate Software for Revit 2023 through 2026. From enhanced selection and data workflows and expanded view creation capability to smarter cleanup tools and cross-model coordination, these updates are all designed to help you work smarter, faster, and with greater confidence. To learn more, visit the What's New section on our website for each of our tools at www.ideatesoftware.com. And if you have any questions or need assistance, our team is always here for you and happy to help. Just email at support@ideatesoftware.com. Thank you for watching, and we look forward to helping you get the most out of Ideate Software. Have a nice day.